All right, welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about one of the more monumentally stupid things in boxing right now, which is the WBC middleweight championship slash franchise championship. And the fact that Canelo Alvarez and Jermall Charlo are both in negotiations for fighting the same guy. Crazy. And this is all because of the WBC and WBC's inability to control Canelo Alvarez. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So, we look at these boxing rankings and talk about, the boxing rankings, the sanctioning bodies, the championships, all of these different belts going on in boxing. And everybody understands, pretty much everybody that talks about boxing understands that it is just an absolutely ridiculous scenario, right? And it has been a ridiculous scenario for a long time. There's way too many sanctioning bodies. There are way too many weight divisions, and the sanctioning bodies have way too many championships within in the same weight division. You have things like the WBA, who has the WBA regular and the WBA super, and the WBC joins the fray of this. And the WBC has all kind of belts: the Mayan belt, the silver belt, the diamond belt. So as if having 5 different types of belts for the same weight division wasn't enough for the WBC, they decide that they are going to up the ante and give Canelo Alvarez what is called the franchise title. And a franchise title is a title where you stay the champion in a weight division, even though you're not fighting in that weight division, and you don't have to fight any mandatories. But if you lose, the guy that you fight then is able to fight the regular champion in a fight, in a bout. It just doesn't make any sense. And now we see with the scenario going on with Canelo Alvarez, Jermall Charlo, and Sergey Derevyanchenko, just how ridiculous this situation is. Okay, now Jermall, got to give you background on this, because it's so muddled up and senseless. It's just amazing. So Canelo Alvarez was the regular WBC champion. He was the WBC champion. I think he got that belt when he beat Gennady Golovkin. And in fact, he won the WBA belt, he won the WBC belt, and he won the IBF belt, all by beating Gennady Golovkin. Or actually, I think maybe the IBF belt might have been stripped from Gennady Golovkin. And then Canelo won the IBF off of Jacobs. But when he originally he got the WBA for sure and the WBC for sure, beating Gennady Golovkin. Then there was he was ordered to fight his mandatory. His mandatory is Jermall Charlo. But he doesn't want to fight his mandatory, right? And this is big money man Canelo Alvarez that's paying the bills for not only the Nevada State Athletic Commission, paying the bills for the WBC, and he's paying the bills for Golden Boy Promotions, right? He's 81% or 90% of the revenue for Golden Boy Promotions. His pay-per-view events are pretty much cover the operating expenses of the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and is a significant chunk of the fees that get paid, sanctioning fees that get paid to the WBC. So none of those parties want to upset Canelo Alvarez and make Canelo Alvarez do things Canelo Alvarez doesn't want to do, like fighting Jermall Charlo. So what's the WBC do? They concoct another belt. And so now he's the franchise champion, right? For not fighting Jermall Charlo. And then Jermall Charlo becomes the champion. But now Jermall Charlo is the champion, has mandatories, right? The mandatory for him now, according to the WBC, is Sergey Derevyanchenko. Sergey Derevyanchenko is also in negotiations to fight, or according to Sergey Derevyanchenko's team, has an offer on the table to fight Canelo Alvarez. So Canelo Alvarez Canelo Alvarez's mandatory challenger, who he ducked, now has a mandatory challenger that Canelo Alvarez wants to fight on a voluntary basis. Crazy. Why don't you just have Canelo Alvarez fight Jermall Charlo and then have the winner fight Sergey Derevyanchenko? Wouldn't that make sense? Wouldn't that, for all parties involved, be just the easiest way to settle it? That way, you know who the champion is, because right now, depending on who you ask, the champion for the WBC is Canelo Alvarez, or it's Jermall Charlo, and they have the same stupid situation down there at 135 pounds, where Vasily Lomachenko is about to fight Teofimo Lopez for the IBF, the WBA, and the WBO, but yet they're referring to that fight as an undisputed title, even though Teofimo Lopez can't win the franchise championship. All Teofimo Lopez can win is a mandatory shot at Devin Haney. Well, along with that, the other two belts that Vasily Lomachenko has. So you have the same situation up here at 160 pounds. If Canelo Alvarez fights Derevyanchenko and loses. Now, we don't expect that to happen because of the other reasons that I laid out. But what happens with Sergey Derevyanchenko? Does Sergey Derevyanchenko become the franchise champion? No, he does not become the franchise champion. He'll become the WBA champion, but he won't become the WBC champion. He will just get an opportunity to fight the regular champion for beating Canelo Alvarez. This is absolutely ridiculous and stupid. And say, for example, Canelo Alvarez fights Jermall Charlo. Does Jermall Charlo become the super champion? No. Only thing that Jermall Charlo becomes is what he already is. I mean, it's just the stupidest thing. It's just the stupidest thing that you could imagine, man. And all of this crap is coming because of the WBC, and the WBC needing to generate revenue in order to stay in business. And the key means by which they do that are sanctioning fees associated with belts. So they just keep making belt after belt after belt. When a fighter doesn't want to do something, and the fighter's a big money guy, then the big money guy is going to get whatever the big money guy wants, because, pride comes before the fall, but no money comes before the shuttering of doors. And the WBC is obviously trying to make sure that they do not get shut down. And you can see it by all of these crazy decisions these guys make, man. Even the stuff with Dillian White, man. Like, dude, Dillian White is a diamond belt champion. Like, dude, you look at even how Dillian White got to be ranked number one. Or, the better way to look at it is just go Google pictures of Dillian White, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, just Deontay Wilder, and look at how every one of them carry WBC belts. I doubt very much that Deontay Wilder could not, especially with this crap going on with the WBC, say, "Hey, Mauricio, can I get a belt? Can I get a belt? I'd like the WBC Onyx belt. Would you mind putting that? Would you mind giving me naming me the honorary Onyx belt holder for the WBC?" Well, yeah. Will that make you happy, Deontay? Will that make you, make sure you don't raise too many issues about the fact that Tyson Fury didn't have any? Yeah, I'll be completely quiet about it. I'll shut up about it. I won't say anything else about it. I'll tell my brother to leave it alone, right? I'll come out and make a statement and say, hey, this is all a big misunderstanding. Tyson Fury won fair and square. Dude, the WBC would have that honorary Onyx belt delivered to his house with a big press release the very next day. Right? It's just all with the WBC, with this 160-pound title, with the way that they're managing the heavyweight division, the way that they're doing through the lightweight division. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's bordering on stupid. And we really do have an opportunity, I think, if we continue to talk about it and continue to like push this conversation, then maybe, eventually the WBC, well, no, the WBC ain't waking up and not doing that because they have to stay in business. But anyway, the whole thing is stupid. Canelo Alvarez just needs to fight Jermall Charlo, dude. Stop ducking the dude. If you think that you can beat him, Canelo Alvarez is a great fighter. There's definitely a chance that he can win the fight. Just cut to the chase and fight Jermall Charlo, man, and skip with all this other garbage. Anyway, it is what it is. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.